Self-publishing podcast episode number 128.
This episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast is brought to you by 99 Designs, the online marketplace that helps you get outstanding book cover design at an affordable rate. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99.
Welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, where if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. And now, here are your hosts, three guys who sometimes use their powers for good instead of evil: Johnny, Sean, and Dave.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast. The podcast that I can't read the intro because my thing isn't loading. So I'll just say the old one, which is about self-publishing. I don't even remember. Oh, here we go. I got it. As we attempt to change the face of indie publishing, join us in our trailblazing guests. Oh, God, I should just stop. I'm just going to stop. Just wasn't prepared. My computer, my Asana...
Quitter.
I know. My Asana has been really slow, and that's where I have the script. And I used to know the old one so easily that I didn't ever have to have a script. And so I'm like, oh, shit, I don't have it up, and it's not loading fast, motherfucker. No comments on that. I'm still feeling very stilted.
No, you know what it is? Because you said you can't get it up, and you're having problems with your loads. So, like, there was a lot I could have gone there, but I think we're
restrained.
Well, no, it's the 2 weeks of.
You know what it is? It's like the. Wasn't there a Friends episode where Joey said he had so much flirting energy pent up because he couldn't flirt with his hot roommate? That's how we are with our. We're pent up. We need to.
We've had 2 weeks of those write, publish, repeat videos where we've been on our best behavior.
Only 30 videos.
Right, we've done 30 videos, none over 20 minutes, but most of them like 19 minutes and 53 seconds because we're just like rushing into the very ending. So we
flag Sean down like, okay, we got 10 seconds left. Stop.
Because Udemy only lets you have 20 minutes per video. So I'm actually proud of us because we really have stayed on topic and gotten through them all, and that was awesome.
So disappointing.
But yeah, we're on topic, and we're not allowed to say any bad words. So we're just it's good to be back.
And we're done, which is nice.
With the episode? All right, see you later.
Bye, guys. With the write, publish, repeat conversations, because that was a balls out 2 weeks. I mean, it was just like, okay, let's.
For an idea that didn't exist a month ago.
Yeah, and even the previous idea that we had to finish up before getting to that didn't exist a month ago. It's like hey, let's come up with 2 ideas. Well, whatever.
Which is why I'm supposed to be mapping out not only the rest of this year, but the first big quarter of next year, in more detail. And I'm so afraid to do that because what's the point? Right? What's the point? We're just going to change it 92 times anyway.
Yeah, we're going to change it because I won't write on time, and you're going to have like 50 different new ideas. So
yes, those are both
we should
totally
work with
accurate.
Our issues.
We should make things up day by day. Really, like
that's how I live. And look how well it's done for me.
I'm very confused. I'm very discombobulated today. I was working on the tools page. We're gonna have a really good tools page for you guys yet. Coming up soon.
All about hammers and cabinetry.
It's all about cabinetry.
How to build a deck.
It's a bitch. So whatever. I've been dealing with that. I just feel very upended. So I don't know what to say. We'll see you later, basically.
We could turn this into a BOU.
Turn it into a BOU. Yeah, and well, okay, I won't go down that road, but I don't know. Do you want me to play a voicemail? That'll cut the tension.
Yeah, we should also give people a rundown of how, Dave and I started something new this week. We tried that experiment. We should talk about that a little bit.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that on the air.
Oh, I actually... No, I really think we should talk about that on the air. What are you thinking about? Oh, that. Oh, I get it. I can't take you guys anywhere. I'm so off my game. All right, so here's the first and only. Boy, we're going to have to go right back to this uncomfortableness after just one voicemail. Really kind of not okay with this, so let's go ahead.
Hi, Johnny, Sean, and Dave. My name is Lou Souter. I'm the author of 3 business books, the most recent of which is Project Management 101. And I'm kind of in a quandary about my genre. It's a business book, however, it's kind of business fiction. It's kind of a parable, not really like Who Moved My Cheese, but more like the 5 dysfunctions of a team, where it tells a story, and at the end of each chapter, it kind of gives a lesson learned. So it's kind of fiction, it's kind of nonfiction, and I call it business fiction, but I don't know if that's really a genre. So I was looking for some direction from you guys as to what you would suggest I actually, direct this to and try to market it as. Thanks a lot. Love the show. Listen to it every week.
Thanks, Lou, for queuing us up to talk about the Fiction Unboxed book. That was nice of you. I don't think it's business fiction. Unless I'm misunderstanding, I think that it's still nonfiction. It's just written as fiction, right? I mean, well, not as fiction, but like as a story, like as a narrative.
Well, no, I think the parallel here isn't even Fiction Unboxed, because that really is nonfiction. I think this is what, if I understood his question correctly, it's more like what we've always wanted to do with Publisher Pete, where they're like that is fiction, but it's like, they're parables. So our original Publisher Pete thing, which that idea still hasn't died, it's there, is this guy named Publisher Pete. He's a writer, and he basically stumbles and has a lot of the same mistakes and stuff that we've all experienced. Like KDB punches him in the ear, and he's like, "Oh, should I be in KDB Select again?" Or all of that. And they're little fictional stories, but each one proves a point. And I don't know. That's a very hard question, because fiction is clearly the wrong place for that.
Okay, rather than theorizing and taking this opportunity to plug all these things that we haven't done yet, why don't we just look at Who Moved My Cheese in Amazon and see where that is?
Well, I was actually gonna suggest that, asshole, but I also think.
Did you hear when Dave said, "Let's skip this opportunity to publicize something we're doing"?
Yeah, right.
Is that right?
He's just such a team player.
What an asshole!
I know. Right. So, but I think that in that in that paradigm, it actually nonfiction is the place, because nonfiction is there to solve problems, right? And if you're solving problems, you want to solve problems that people are looking for. I think you want to qualify that heavily in the product description and explain that these are parables. Pete's not a real guy, or in this gentleman's instance, these are stories based on the answers you're looking for, because it is the intent. If you're looking at the intent here, it's absolutely nonfiction. What does Who Moved My Cheese say?
It is in Kindle eBooks, Business and Money, nonfiction self-help, and business culture, business and money, business culture, like workplace stress management, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I would put it in, like Sean said, what the intent is. So it's about project management. I would think project management, not how that information is conveyed.
Yeah, because if it's fiction, you're going to lose like most of your ability to sell that book, and it's not just about the money that you're not going to make. It's that you're not touching base with your ideal market. You're totally missing them, and I don't think that's what you want to do. I would absolutely do nonfiction, even if it uses fiction as the device.
And I think another thing is you want to pay attention to the books that are in the also bots of what you want to rank for. I would find
that's great advice.
Because with when I buy nonfiction, I look at the also bots on nonfiction more than I do fiction.
I do too.
Because I'm more interested in buying nonfiction usually, and that's how I view it. So I'll go several pages deep, or several selections deep into people who also bought this, because I want to read something similar to what I'm reading. And I think in nonfiction, that's an advantage you have over fiction. Or it's put it in business erotica.
It's definitely a spirit of the law, not a letter of the law type of thing, because it's not like you're trying to trick anybody. You're trying to connect with the ideal reader, and if you put it in fiction, you're going to miss that ideal reader.
And
there you go.
Fiction about business organization anyway, so. Fiction, not nonfiction. I'm not saying this guy's wasting his time.
Dave is sexy today. Dave is just awesome.
I've been waking up in the morning, so.
I love that. Wait, hold on. I love that merits not what the fuck.
I've been doing what everybody else has been doing forever.
No, Dave just said. Here's the statement he made. I've been getting up in the mornings. So let's just stop and think about the fact that that's something that none of us kind of said, well, yeah, like
It would be like if
Otherwise,
you were. It would be like if you were 2 weeks into staying up late every single night.
I did a thing where I was sleeping just a handful of hours a night just to mess with shit, just to try things out.
Just to mess with reality.
Just to mess with reality. No, it was a biphasic sleep thing. So I'd sleep 3 or 4.5 hours a night, and then I'd take a 1.5 hour nap. It was.
How did Robin like that schedule?
She's just used to me No, she didn't do it. I did.
Well, no, I know, but like if I said, okay, Cindy, I know you're tolerant of all my crazy ideas, but I wanna sleep 3 hours. I want the Da Vinci sleep, right? Because Da Vinci worked for 3 hours, he slept for 20 minutes, he worked for 3 hours, he slept for 20 minutes. If I said I want to try the Da Vinci sleep schedule, as tolerant as she is of my shenanigans, she would be like, fuck that. No.
Why would she care?
Well, your office is in your room at the moment. So.
Well, yes, my office is in my
That's a problem, but that's
Hey, honey, I'm gonna fire up this bright ass iMac and wake up.
because going to bed is
printing old daguerreotypes.
because I mean you and me here, Johnny. Dave's clearly his own beast, but
My wife loves when I'm away.
right, but like we go to bed with our wives, like that's something we do together, right?
Oh yeah, I get up in the morning.
If I were to tell Cindy, you know what, guess what? I'm not gonna go to bed with you anymore, and if I do, it's just 20 minutes, honey, then I'm up for my.
I have to pull a Dave. What do you care who's watching TV with you thing on this, because like we don't necessarily have to go to bed at the right time at the exact same time, although we usually do. And we sure as shit don't have to wake up at the same time.
No, we don't wake up at the same time, but we go to bed together.
Let's face
What's
it,
the matter?
20 minutes is 18 minutes longer than you need anyway. So
I'm a good little sleeper, actually. I like my sleep.
Oh my God, this feels so strange to be off topic. I want to do it more, but it's very odd. Like, no, we just got off topic for a whole 20-minute Udemy video's worth. Let's talk direct sales, because this is pretty cool. So in the last episode 127, we talked about how Sean and Dave are going to release Yesterday's Gone Season 5 in KDP Select, and how we all basically felt that we were doing the walk of shame, and Amazon had just talked us into some kinky bondage, and we didn't want to do it, but we had to, and we just had to walk away. And so anyway, so we're going to try Select again, but they were going to sell first, which I thought was a good best of both worlds sort of thing, like sell direct. Didn't go totally smoothly, but I think that it has some really, really awesome, a really awesome result if you ignore the fact that there were some problems.
Yeah, there were some big hiccups. I'm gonna let Dave explain what happened. Explain what we did first, and then all the things that went wrong, so he could get it all off his chest and rant. Because oh my God, you guys should have heard him yesterday. The sky was falling. Eeyore was like circling the wagons. It was just terrible. And then I'll give you the sunny side.
Eeyore was circling the wagons.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to question that metaphor.
thank you for pre-explaining my explanation.
You're welcome.
So yeah, we're selling Yesterday's Gone directly on our website, and the season. So we basically, because we're doing KDP Select starting on Monday for the episodes, we can't sell the book at the same time, so it has to be exclusive to Amazon. So we said, okay, well, we're not going to make people wait 90 days. We're going to sell on the website a week before. So we sent out the email to all the people on our lists, and mention on Facebook and stuff, and a lot of people bought it, and that is really awesome. And the negative is that a number of those people had issues downloading it because of something to do with the website, not our fault, something to do with the architecture of the website. And I went off on a complete and total tirade yesterday because we were getting emails from people that couldn't download it, and I wasn't annoyed that I had to respond to people that couldn't download it.
Like to the author.
I was annoyed that people had to email us, because it should be a seamless thing. Because I don't know about you guys, but people have been selling stuff on the web for a while. It's not like a new thing. It might be new that we're doing it and not a lot of writers do it at the moment, but selling stuff directly isn't it shouldn't be that damn difficult, and I was going damn nuts. So
Yeah, does it mean anything to anybody that when Dave says he had a tirade and was going nuts, that I'm just like, it wasn't that bad? Like, does that mean I'm getting used to it?
No, it's like him.
Well, I'm talking. Before I even talked to you guys, I was like bitching at the computer and yelling, and I was going. I was punching.
I'll have to
things.
check my security footage.
No, a tirade for Dave is like 8 glasses of water a day. Like it's it keeps him healthy and hydrated. If he goes too long without a tirade,
I don't want to be pent up.
Yes, it's bad for the world and really bad for Redacted. And I don't just mean the Redacted he's married to. I mean the Redacted where he lives, like the ground tremors and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, the actual it was. I would not consider it an overwhelming success because we did have a couple of hiccups. For our actual direct sales, I consider that an overwhelming success. The numbers were actually higher than I expected, and that's really gratifying because it means that the theory works. Just like moving, this guy's books into nonfiction business, and that like the theory works, right? I liked to the idea that we want to sell directly to our audience and kind of circumvent Amazon, and that was fantastic. Yes, there were hiccups, and it sucks too because like we really do believe in the Rainmaker platform and what it's trying to do and where it's going. And it's pretty funny because a couple weeks ago when Rainmaker 2 came out, like it was officially out of beta. Apparently ours is still beta. But
wait, they didn't even get Rainmaker 1 right yet, did they?
Right. So Rainmaker 2 came out, and we got a thing to do a testimonial, and I so want to give a great testimonial because I believe in it, I believe in them, but I can't yet, and I look forward to the day when I can. But we have had so many problems, and I'm not saying anything that all the people who are members of the site don't already know. Like they've already suffered from all this stuff. And of course, the day we put out, like the day we thought, okay, everything is solved, we've got our members links working now, and yesterday's gone, season 5 goes live, and none of the download links they're not working.
And it's just par for the course whenever I think of anything like worst case scenario, and you're always like, no, everything will be fine, everything will be rosy. And I'm like, no, something will happen. So I decided not to say anything this time and just go with the flow, and here we go, bullshit.
Yeah, and so literally emails were coming in to Jacob as fast as he could respond to them. And now here's the good news on this, and this is why I think that I believe everything for a reason.
This is significant good news, I think.
Yeah, I think you're going to have hiccups in this kind of situation, and it allows you to grow. It allows you to see where your weak spots are. It allows us to pivot for next time and do better. And every one-on-one correspondence I had with somebody, if we had just seamless, yes, we want to offer a seamless experience. So this is not a best-case scenario. However, even having said the fact, even with all these hiccups, there was so much more good than bad here. Every single one-on-one dialogue I had that I would not have had with a seamless exchange was overwhelmingly positive because people got to touch base with an author and they felt awesome about that. And what we decided to do when this is all over is to give everybody who bought ahead of time, everybody who believed in us enough to buy Yesterday's Gone directly from Sterling and Stone, we're going to send them the Cursed bundle, which is totally in alignment. It's Realm and Sand's only horror title. Goners will like that title. And it's a way of giving them, like, it's 4 books and just here, thank you, sorry for any hiccups, thank you. And that's a really cool thing because the people that we ended up bonding with already, we haven't done that yet, we're going to do that as soon as possible, but the people that we ended up bonding with one-on-one, sorry for the hiccups, oh my god, we're so stupid, they understood and they were like, oh, it's okay, it's so awesome, I'm just so excited to read this. So all of those were really positive. I did not have one negative experience. If Dave did, I don't know about it. But
no, we did not have a negative experience. But here's the deal: we have now just burned through whatever goodwill we had with these people.
Oh my God, dude!
Shut up.
No,
listen to me. Listen
Wow.
to me. God damn it! We have so okay. We these people, they like our stuff, and they've been very, gracious in dealing with this issue. But this cannot be par for the course. When we sell our next book, this cannot happen again. Because
of course it can't happen again.
Saying, we've burned through that goodwill. Yes, some people might say, okay, it happened a second time, that's fine. But more people will be annoyed with us, and you cannot have annoyance in that sale. That's why Amazon's so great. No annoyance. You just click buy, it's there.
You're totally right. But you can't look at your extremes that you jump to. We have burned through all
that is
of
how
our
people
goodwill.
Are though. That's how customers
No,
are.
it's how you are.
I worked in customer service for over a decade. I know how people get.
You worked in a fucking gas station.
Doesn't matter. People
that is
are people.
That is not customer service. People there are already primed to hate you. You're behind a bulletproof fucking wall. I worked customer service my entire life in a flower shop where it's different. It is different. The mood is different. Okay, it's different. And we had an opportunity.
To slide you your money through a little drawer.
Yes, dude. This is apples and oranges.
Shoot you because they can get their flowers.
Yes, this is apples and oranges.
Shit in the sink at my flower shop.
And when it's all over, we have better audience will. People are going to appreciate the extra cursed, and now we've managed to make our family tighter, and that's all really good stuff. So
I agree with you. Right now it's good, but this cannot be par for the course. This cannot happen again.
Well, clearly, it's not our plan to have it happen again.
No. But I think that the bigger issue here is that every time you try something that's complicated and different and relatively new, yes, people have been selling stuff online. Of course they have. But the larger scope of what we're doing really kind of is new and is frontier, and there's gonna be fuck-ups. I mean, that's just par for the course. That's what the thing we did in the conversation series about, how many failures have you had relative to successes? That just... shit doesn't go smooth.
I agree, and I will say that we would never find any success if we weren't afraid to fail. I understand that, and I love that Sean and you pull me towards these things that I would not normally gravitate to. Otherwise, I would probably be selling from the back of the truck where I can ensure that the customer service was perfect.
All right, here's where I'm going to drive
down to, Dave. So
okay, here's the parallel here. It's like an app. It's like Apple. Okay. How many crappy things has Apple done that's just infuriated their core customers, and yet they still come back because they're Apple and they do things right, and they know that.
I'm still waiting for that right.
Even when they break things, they make them better.
It does give you a chance. Fucking up does give you a chance to prove yourself. It's
right.
Everybody when everything goes well. When we did that theme giveeway. When Sean and I were in Cleveland.
Great example.
And just everything, it was hey, the theme's free. This author, theme for authors. And then an hour before that email went out or something, it had become not free, and we didn't know that. So it's boom, it's not free. Okay, now let's tell everybody it is free, and we didn't know that. It was scheduled in advance. The email was scheduled. The post was scheduled, and so people are that's not free. That's not free. But it gave us a chance to respond, and Danny, huge kudos to Danny Cooper for hanging in on that. But people saw, okay, when shit goes wrong, we're gonna snap to it. We're gonna take care of you guys. Yes, we have to scramble. Yes, we don't want to fuck up. But it's kind of nice to be able to fix things.
Okay. Yeah, I think it does. You don't even burn all your will, because we're making it. Not only are we making it good, we're making it better. They're getting something bonus and free, and maybe they're gonna love that story. And at the very least, our job is to leave them with a very positive experience. And if we mess up in any way, then it's our burden to make sure that that's not just made right, but made better. And so
I just thought a very EOU question on this topic that will allow us to get to the heart of the issue. Because
there's an analogous
situation here. So, this might be like a glasses half full, glasses half empty sort of a test. So, Dave, when you go to your favorite redacted restaurant and they fuck up, and you're just okay, well, maybe I'll get the food for free. And then you get the food for free. They're okay, I know it's terrible. I know you had to wait. I'm so sorry. I know you had to wait, but we're going to give you your food for free. Is that okay, well, I got my food for free, so that's kind of cool that they made that right? Or is that no, they're going to burn?
It depends. It depends on how they handle it. If they fuck up in a way that is unforgivable, then no, the free food doesn't mean shit. I don't give a fuck about the free food.
Have you ever stood up in a restaurant and said, "You are dead to me"?
No, how many times have you stood up in a restaurant? To me?
It was Tucker Max there.
We can't eat together.
I sent a text. I don't know whether I sent it to both of you. No, I think I sent it to Sean because Dave wouldn't have appreciated this one. And I said, God damn you! You've ruined. I was at like a Max and Irma's, and I said, you fuckers have
You were
ruined.
Max and Irma's.
You were like, you assholes. Like I was able to just go to my restaurants and it was fine, but now I have Sean and Tucker in my head.
Dude,
And
I've been so good too. I took Cindy out on Wednesday, and I didn't text you any food. I totally wanted
Did you get up in the morning?
but I didn't.
All right. So I think you know what time it is, and it's of course time to talk about branding. So branding is a term that we throw around, but what exactly is? Well, that was smooth. What exactly is branding, Dave?
Well, going off the top of my head, I think it's basically the gut feeling people have about your book, your company, or you as an author. And I'd say that branding leverages core truths to create emotional connections with your audience. Does that sound about right?
Well, except that you burn all of your capital sometimes when you're trying to brand and it doesn't work out. Yeah, I mean that you did that very well. It didn't sound scripted at all, but you're right. I mean, design is key to communicating your brand. You have endless choices. That's all very important. It's the communication that you have with your audience. But what options are available to authors who don't have giant budgets or coffers loaded with cash to throw money at the big brand machine? They're just screwed, right?
Yeah, they're screwed. They should just give up, go home. Why bother competing? Don't even wake up.
Wait. Why even wake up? Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Why even wake up? I mean, life is just a fucking miserable chore.
How appropriate was it that I had a perfect sound effect for the middle of this spontaneous discussion? No, you don't have to give up. Because fortunately, there are online marketplaces like, but this is the part where I usually pretend not to know who this is, so I'm very confused. Like 99 Designs. Say, who's that?
Who is that?
Oh well, they're fantastic. They can help you build a brand on a budget. You get maximum creativity with 99 Designs with their contest models, where dozens of designers compete to deliver you the best design possible, and you get to be involved in the process the whole way, walking with a logo, a website, or other design that truly represents your brand. Boy, I know a lot about these people, and I never do any other week.
Yeah, we've even used them for our Sterling and Stone logo. We want a design that represented all of our imprints from Collective Inkwell around.
Oh, that's why they're so familiar.
To Guy Incognito, and the designers at 99 Designs nailed it with an awesome unicorn logo, which manages to convey whimsy and children in jeopardy. I highly recommend 99 Designs, and the best part is...
You don't want to get jabbed with that horn.
And the best part is that 99 Designs offers a 100% money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
I wrote up a little thing for the tools page today and had to say 99 Designs, you have nothing to lose, and laughed about that. So start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy. Don't just receive, but go out there and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. And
does the Power Pack help you fly?
You're thinking of the Powerpuff Girls.
I was thinking of a jetpack, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, before we get to the topic...
Wait, no, hold on. I have to finish the ad read.
Sorry.
For the crowd. I mean,
I really
this is an ad read?
My spontaneous discussion. They'll, make your contest stand out from the crowd with a bold listing and highlighting it in a prominent background, and on average, 185% more designs. So visit 99designs.com/SPP. Don't be a sucker without that Power Pack upgrade. Get started today. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Sean threw me off, because once Sean starts talking, I usually tune out. So.
Oh, man.
Story of my life.
Exhausting.
We have some comments here. Quotidian Light says, I still cannot stop laughing now. We go to bed with our wives. Adam Bailey asked, is this a drunk show? Misty Morgan says, I think that as long as people know that they will get what they're paying for soon, then it's no harm. Don't worry, Dave. Most people are not arseholes.
Yeah, Dave assumes everyone hates him and is waiting to hate him.
I love how British people can class up the word asshole. That's
it's so awesome.
Liberty Speedell says, haven't been able to hop in for a live show in a while, but saw the title of this one and had to come. Working on a series right now and maintaining the integrity has been a big concern. So now, half hour into the show, we'll actually get to the topic.
That's
Well,
what
how is that atypical?
We always do. Well,
I'm not complaining! Shut up!
Dude, you can say I have to go to the bathroom and it sounds like you're bitching. Like, it's just the way you talk.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh my god, I'm so angry right now. I was just thinking better off on a dead episode called Dave's Angry Pooping. That would probably be really popular. All right, so moving on to the topic. Who says that we're lokish? We wanted to talk about. Well, I love that after my pooping comment, I'm going to move to the integrity of maintaining the integrity of a serial. You guys, that's a Yesterday's Gone, mainly sort of a centric discussion. So who wants to lead?
Dave, because I think he can make it. He could frame it with a lot of anger, and that
I'm
should be
used to
fun. for
taking turns with these write, publish, repeat things. I'd have to be like, okay, you go now.
Well, okay, so approaching Yesterday's Gone season 5, and we're not going to have any spoilers or anything. One of the important, there's a few important things. Basically, first of all, we have to catch people up. Unlike a TV show where you could like show clips and catch everybody up.
And don't you wish you could have done that?
So wish I could have done that. But with books, it's a little more difficult. So we had to write a previously, happened section. And that took like 2 days to write. Even though I had notes and everything, it still took like 2 days to write and figure out what it needed and stuff like that. But even that, I don't think is enough to really bring people up to speed. So one of the things that we did was in the dialogue, we found sections basically to kind of frame the situation, but natural ways. Not like it wouldn't be like two characters talking about the characteristics of a rifle that they both knew about, because that would,
Hey, remember how Brian had a brain aneurysm while he was standing with his hot dog?
we see that we see that in bad TV and horrible movies.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
So we had to do it in a way that is not horrible, and I think that can be challenging, but I think we pulled it off from some of the initial comments I got so far for Yesterday's Gone.
Were these people who weren't angry about the download?
Fuck off. So that was one of the first things we had to deal with, like bringing people up to speed. And I was thinking about this. Game of Thrones doesn't have a previous, or a Song of Ice and Fire doesn't have a previously section, and I don't think he sprinkles in all this stuff to help people out. They're just expected to remember. But I guess we're being a little more reader friendly than George R.R. Martin.
Well, but I think that the further you get into a series, the more you can just sort of be like. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to just kind of know. Like, you can't recap everything. I know that I'm reading the Harry Potter books again because I don't know, I just wanted to read them again. And, they do start out a lot more juvenile, and then they become a lot more teen later on. And the second book has some kind of awkward, I'm not awkward, but, deliberate recaps. Like, you'd just be like, this happened, and then be like, oh, well, in last year, blah, blah, blah happened. And then there's less of that in the third and less of that in the fourth. And I found that in good series, it seems like you have to start trusting your reader to recall the basic stuff.
Well, I think this is a difference between series and serial right here. If it was an actual series, like when we get to the Dream Engine 5, I'm not going to feel any need to do a recap. I don't feel any need to do a recap on 2. I think what makes the Yesterday's Gone different is it is kind of aping TV. Right, and in TV you always have a previously on because that's how you catch up in the serial, and we don't have closed boxes. We leave boxes open from season to season, and that's a lot of loose threads. And so I think that you owe it to the reader in that particular context to catch them up. I think in a series where you're just having book to book to book, I think you can do it through dialogue, and you should do it through dialogue. I think it's not. A previously on just doesn't make sense in most books, but in a serial, I think it super does. And in Yesterday's Gone, which is very complicated as we get further on, and some of the things that we've done in 4 and 5 are especially complicated. And if you risk losing your reader, then they're not going to enjoy it as much, and that's going to be reflected in like their enjoyment and the way they leave a review and all of that. And I think that
You
makes
say you burn through all of their goodwill if you do
yes, I
that?
think you get one chance. You get one chance, and then
You bastard.
you're done forever. You get one chance. So
One
you don't
shot,
want to
don't blow it.
you don't want to blow that one shot.
Well, I will say that when we were doing the Beam season 2, Sean proposed that, the idea of doing previously on. And I, mainly because I was tired, was like, fuck it. Like, I was just like, I don't want to do that. That's too much work. I'm tired. And so we weren't going to do it. And then very close to publication, I said, okay, we got to do it. Like, we do. Like, it sucks, but we got to do it, because I was going through this and I was like, you have to remember, what happened with Doc at the end of the season, or with Kai or anybody, in order to even, you start off running.
Yeah, a serial's different, and you have, one of the main things that's different, it's not just that it's a serial, it's the amount of different POVs you have. So that's a lot harder to keep track of. Not only what happened in the overall story, but what happened with this character versus this character versus this character, and how everything intersected. That's a lot more for a reader to manage.
Lines too.
Yeah, right. So I think that you owe it to your reader in that context. But I think the takeaway here is it's not, there is no one rule. You have to think about what your book is doing and what you expect from your reader. And like, there's a few things that are different with the Beam versus Yesterday's Gone, and what we expect from our reader. So one thing that we do in Yesterday's Gone is we identify whose chapter it is at the beginning of the chapter. It's Brent Foster, and then it's a Brent chapter. Where in the Beam, we make that identification in the first sentence. We just let the reader know who it is by the way they're thinking, or Brent walked to the window and looked outside, right? Mm-hmm. Like, then it's Brent's chapter. And so no two books are or should be the same. You really have to think about what you're trying to convey, and the best way to convey it. And as series move along, I think the bond with your reader is deeper. I think we could get away with things in season 5 of Yesterday's Gone that we couldn't get away with in season 1 or 2 because we didn't have the reader buy-in, right?
Oh, but now, didn't you have the necrophilia scene in season 2?
Yeah, but no, I don't mean stuff like that.
No, oh my god,
that was a bonding feature.
that
was trimming your tribe.
Yeah, how come that didn't take away our one shot? People came back after that. I think that it's not that you can get away with more. I don't mean that as in you can get away with sloppy writing, or I think quite the contrary. I think things have to get tighter as you go on, because you really want to be better and better and better per season, so that you don't have a reader who says, they really should have stopped at season 3. You don't ever want to be Dexter, right? You want to go out on top. Mm-hmm. Breaking Bad, right? Breaking Bad was 5 seasons, and they went out on top. Like, they didn't milk that. They told their story, and then they left, and that's fantastic. That's what great television should do. Dexter went on way too long and overstayed its welcome, and so you want to make sure that you have enough story to tell. And the things that you can get away with, I think, are narrative choices, not quality choices. So, like, some of the things and without spoilers, but some of the areas that we took Mauricio, I think that they would have been wholly unrealistic in season 3, but we've done enough building that not only are they acceptable in season 5, but I think they're very rewarding to the constant reader who has been with us through the entirety of the story, and they're seeing this character go through these changes. And Mauricio has always been a confusing character. I don't think readers know exactly how they're supposed to feel about him, which is one of the things that we like about writing him, is that he's confusing in that way. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we could do that we couldn't do before. But I think that's the key. You want to challenge yourself, and you want to challenge the reader, but you want to maintain the writing and the ideas, and you want to make sure that you're both building off of what you've already done, but expanding it too.
I think you really have to be strategic in focus, and what I mean, you want, like when we started off the story, there was, just a bunch of people that the whole world vanished, and we're picking up the stories of these people. But as each season goes on, we delve a little deeper into different parts of the story, different parts of each character, and their personal struggles. And I think with a series that kind of drags on too long, overstays its welcome, it's because they're hitting repeat. They're doing the same thing over and over. And I think the challenge there, in what I think Breaking Bad did very well, is they examine different facets of the ramifications of Walter White. First, it was him trying to make this drug thing work, and battling the mob, and then it spread out to like when the family found out, and then dealing with his brother-in-law. I'm not putting any spoilers out there, but they changed the focus a little bit for each season of the series, and made you care. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and you will have burnout and fatigue. Some people will read it regardless. They just some people like to read the same story, but I think generally speaking, you want to try and avoid that, and change the focus.
Yeah.
Each new book, change the focus a little bit. Find a new way to tell the story, or other sides you haven't shown yet. If you have like a bad guy that's like the big scary person for the first book or two of the season, maybe in the third season you start off from his or her POV, and how they came to be what they are, and just adding that extra dimension makes the stakes count even more. As say that the third season began with this bad guy, and you still have your other people, but it began with that person, and then when that bad guy eventually meets up with the other people that you've already grown attached to, it's a different sort of thing going on. You change the expectations and the fears both.
Yeah, by changing the dynamic, you change all the interpersonal stuff. And as far as television, if you're looking for a gold standard of the way this is done, The Wire. The Wire's been off the air for a long time, but man, was it groundbreaking. It was such a good show, and what made it so good was exactly what Dave is talking about right now, where every single season it just pulled the camera back further, and it showed you more of the world and from different angles, and the character cast would kind of change a little bit each season. You'd have the same characters, but then you'd have new characters who were a different part of the city, and they affected the characters that you knew in very indirect ways, and it was magical the way they showed all those interpersonal relationships. Right now we're mapping out, we're in pre-production for the Dream Engine 2, which is a fully fledged sequel, and it's the first chance to do this in kind of that way, because we started really small. In the first Dream Engine, the entire story takes place in Altera, and we don't know anything beyond that. There's the fog that surrounds the continent, and that's it. They don't know anything, and they don't know, the people who live in there, except for a few select individuals, don't know that there's even anything beyond the fog. And now we're having to build this whole entire world, so we're in effect pulling the camera back, and it's about how can we maintain the integrity of this small story that we told the first time, while making it big, but not too big, because we still want to save stuff for later stories. We want to pull the camera back a little bit at a time. And that's another thing in writing series stuff. You don't want to go too much too soon. And I think that goes hand in hand with what Dave was saying also about choosing your focus. Don't get too big. Don't let your camera blur. Hone in on something the story that you want to tell, that's going to be sharp, and know that you can expand later. But the more you understand your story and the tighter your focus is, the better it's going to be, the easier it's going to be to write. Not easy, but straightforward, and the more likely your reader is to enjoy it.
We were talking about this week, Sean and I, because I'm writing La Fleur de Blanc for the Lexi Maxwell line. And again, I mean, that's me and Sean. That's us basically taking over for Lexi. She'll get final cut, but it's our title, and it takes place in the real world. There's nothing fantastical, but there is there's a rivalry. There's our lead character Lily has a nemesis. She has Carrie, who's
Carrie Barrett Kirby. You have to say her whole name because she's a bitch.
and usually it is all three names. I find myself using all three names frequently. But I said, I wanted to know how to deal with Carrie because we needed to know what we were going to do in the next book in the series. Because you don't just want to kind of have an arc where there's some sort of victory typically for the protagonist, but then you can do. I mean, the analogy I drew was, in Star Wars there was Darth Vader, and then we get the Emperor later on. You get the bigger bad guy. Well, it's a real world story, and the idea of a bigger bad guy, I don't know. There's a danger of it becoming a cliche, and so that's an interesting balancing act right now, trying to decide how you perpetuate the series and still have conflict. It's kind of a soap opera thing, so there's always needs to be conflict. But I haven't. Sean's got ideas. I haven't totally figured that out yet.
I think soap operas. I so wanted to write a soap opera when I was a kid.
You can read this series, but then it'll give you awkward wood.
No, because I know you guys wrote it, not Lexi, and all wood would have dissipated.
I spice it up, but it's pretty spicy.
I think that one thing really, really, really important with a series is to make sure that each book can 100% stand on its own. You can't in any way say, oh, the series is trying to say this, the series is good, so this book can kind of, in no way. Actually, this is a perfect example because Yesterday's Gone season 5. Out of every single thing across all of our lines in our entire catalog, this is the title that could have been just, we're killing time till season 6, right? Because season 6 is going to come out, and that's the big one. And season 5, all it had to do was take place. How I Met Your Mother, I just finished, and oh my God, I wish that show was 3 seasons shorter.
I feel the way about that you said you felt about Dexter, because I'm all the way up to what season are they on now? 5 or something?
No. How I Met Your Mother goes 9 seasons, and I didn't know. I thought I was on the last season, and then I found out there was a whole other season. I was pissed.
Right, so I'm already exactly because I'm already
at the end. Let me just save you the trouble.
There's a whole season on Netflix that I haven't had the courage to watch yet because I'm I know it's like a to-do list item. I know I have to watch that.
Skip to the last one. Just skip to the last one.
I can't. I have to. I'm this invested. I have to watch it, and I'm already pissed off. I'm already
you're gonna get more pissed off. You're gonna get more pissed off.
It
sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks, and they owe you an apology. All right. But
I'm gonna bring Robin in here so you can make her excited about watching it. Sucks. It sucks.
It's just it's the worst, and it's an exact example of what we're talking about because we both felt the need to watch them even though we knew they were sucking because we had to reach the end with the last season, which we really cared about. But we can never, as artists who care about the integrity of our work and the relationship with our readers, we can never ever do that. And so season 5 had to be exceptional. It had to be better than season 4. It didn't just have the job of setting up season 6 and getting those expectations. It had to do the job of being outstanding on its own. And admittedly, through the draft, I didn't know if it did that job. I knew it was good, and there were a lot of things I really liked about it, but until it was all done and the story was told, and it was that final time through the draft, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And I finally felt relief. Which I think this is how Dave feels about everything ever, always, right?
There's no relief.
But this particular title, I felt more of that pressure, and it wasn't until that final read through where that was soothed, and it was because yes, it sets up the stakes for the season 6, and yes, it builds off all the stuff we've done for the previous 4 seasons. But most importantly, it stood entirely on its own. It's a good story with a rise and fall, and everything makes sense within its own context, and that's exciting to me as an author. I feel proud of that book because of that.
One of the things I like in reading series books, like Dennis Lehane has a series with these 2 detectives whom I can't remember the name right now, but I do.
The guy and the girl.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember their names either, but you introduced me to this series.
Yes, Kenzie and I forget the other. But anyway, one of the things that is a prototypical sort of series that I would like to write, in that it's not super complicated. Because each book is a different like mystery. It's a mystery series, a detective series, but each is a different story. But there's recurring characters that stretch out over the arc of all the books, and I think there's like, and I even see this with a book. A series that I read my son, these calendar mysteries. They do something really cool in that they have these little minor characters, and they recur throughout the series. At first, they're just like sort of one-note characters, but they might be funny, or there might be something about them. And this is the same with Lahane. He has like a funny character, and as the series as the books go, on, the next one, when he pops up again, this character, I'm like, oh yeah, and you start to care for this person, and then as the books continue to go on, you can delve into that character a little more, or you could kill him off. So,
I think that. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just gonna whatever. Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is that for me, I think that there's a balancing act you need to do with characters where you need to pay respect to the sort of the format of a character, and at the same time you do want them to be able to grow. So here's what I mean. Like my biggest beef with How I Met Your Mother, to stick with that example, is that Barney changed too much. It's like it's a sitcom. Like he's fucking Barney Stinson. Like we don't want to see him get sweet and stuff, but at the same time, there was Joey is kind of a similar character on Friends, just not as extreme, and he did soften a little bit, and that was okay. But I think when you stray too far within some genres, it's a problem, and at the same time, you want to have the ability of your character to grow.
They do course correct with Barney, not to spoil anything.
Okay, well, hopefully, because that's bullshit. But
I want him to always be a womanizer.
No, I think that you
no love for him.
The comedy.
I think that you can have your characters. I think you could actually do anything with your characters. I think sitcom rules are a little more rigid because it's a sitcom. But I think you can do anything with your characters as long as you justify it and you make it believable. You have to give reasons for it. You can't just decide your character is this thing because they're now this thing, and you're just telling your reader that there's this thing now, because that's breaking a covenant. That's basically like spitting in your reader's eye. Like, don't do that. You have to, if you want your character to change, then you have to give them a procession of events that change them. Rock their world, kill their mother or their child if you're Dave.
Why stop with one?
Do something just that rocks you, that changes the gravity of their world, and that can change them. But you can't just change them because you decide to, and expect your reader to believe that, because it's bullshit, and your reader can smell it.
Right. Every character has their own internal compass, and if you want them to change, you have to give them enough of a compelling outside force that it wouldn't jar, that it would still work within their internal compass. I think that's what it is.
Right, because look, we it's hard to change, right? How many people, like, we all want to change.
Dave, nobody ever changes.
Right.
Only for the worst.
We all want to do things better. We all want to be better at things and improve. But it's not enough to want to change. Your world has to be rocked in some way to change. You can make tiny little changes and become better versions of who you are, or worse versions of who you are, but you can't just be totally different without some kind of catalyst.
We have a question here. Liberty Speedell says, working on a futuristic superhuman series. First novellas on Amazon, Kobo, iTunes, Barnes & Noble, plug. How much of the world that's different should I make sure to transfer from book to book to make sure the reader gets the idea for the setting? And how early in the book? That's been one of my biggest struggles as I work on the sequels. I think this goes with one of the things that we've talked about like with the beam and stuff, there's certain elements of the world that are different, but your readers won't see it, or your POV characters won't see it that way. So if you're writing from the POV of these characters that are used to these things, then you shouldn't really, bring it up too much. Only in a way that, just to nod that it's there, perhaps. Like if for some reason the sky is orange instead of blue or something, you might want to just drop that casually, but you don't want to hit.
Hey, remember when Bob had the
orange.
aneurysm holding the hot dog in front of the two moons?
Yeah.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
I'd have 5 cents.
I'd have 5 nickels. So, all right. So, I guess we should finish. I would just mention, people. Hey, big cheers to the SPP community, like the Google Plus community was like, hey,
So awesome.
They're doing Fiction Unboxed 1.5 and they haven't talked about it yet, and it was like, and Monica was actually like, oh, I'm sorry, we jumped the gun, and I'm like, sorry, like you're excited about something we're doing? No, that's not. Sorry, we are going to have some blog posts about it on the sterlingandstone.net blog.
Starting next week, actually. It'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, or all the 1.5 posts are scheduled. And so you get the whole rundown next week.
But for those of you who are eager, well, there's basically 2 ways. If you're what used to be called a Sterling and Stoner and is now called a Platinum Reader, the continuity, it's at sterlingandstone.net /fiction-unbox. No, it's in your members library if you're a Platinum Reader, because you get half off.
And your links might even work.
And your links will work.
But if not, we're done. If we're not, you're done with us. We blew it.
Right in the
site.
library.
Let's just stop writing.
For half off. And then if you aren't, it's sterlingandstone.net /fiction-unbox-1-5, which again is clunky, but hey, whatever. So, all right, well, like I said, we'll be done. And thanks for tuning into the Self-Publishing Podcast. If you'd like to get our best advice without all of the off-topic bullshit, be sure to pick up our book, Write to Publish, Repeat, The No Luck Required Guide to Self-Publishing Success, at selfpublishingpodcast.com/WPR. And if you've ever wanted to see how a novel really gets written, you can watch Sean and I write one from start to finish with nothing held back at fictionunboxed.com. And there's a bundle if you want to get Fiction Unboxed 1 and 1.5 together. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.